everybody. Welcome back to Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. I'm Charles Skaggs.
I'm Zan Sprouse.
She's Zan Sprouse. You know us by now, hopefully. It's, here we are at episode 15. Hopefully you know us by now.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes. If you don't, hi. How you doing?
Hi. How's it going?
What's
He's
up?
Charles. I'm Zan.
Yeah. So now you know.
I wonder if we have any Dr. Katz fans listening to the podcast.
Probably.
If we've got fans of a 25-year-old TV show, do we have fans of a 20-year-old TV show?
Probably.
Every time we say that, it reminds me of the Dr. Katz, where he has a memory of his folk duo, Koppelman and Katz.
I was never a big Dr. Katz fan, so I'll take it.
Oh, see, I was a huge Dr. Katz fan.
It was the whole squiggly animation kind of like turned me off.
Yeah, you got used to it after a while, but they had this thing where he was talking about his college folk singing duo that he had with his girlfriend, and so they had this whole banter. It's like, I'm Koppelman and I'm Katz. She's Koppelman and he's Katz. We're Koppelman and Katz, and that's that. So
Nice.
it's like,
that's nice.
I don't think our names rhyme to be anything that that clever, but it reminds me of that. So let us know if you are a Dr. Katz fan, because
I'm Charles and she's Zan.
And neither of us has a tan.
Exactly. Very nice. Well played.
That's all. I'm not very clever this week, so sorry.
That's all
about
right. I think knowing your week that you just told me off air.
Yeah.
I think you're more than entitled to not be on your game this week.
Yes, I've had a bit of a week.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So
if I could just shout out for a minute, rest in peace, Tim Keller. My friend Tim passed away this week. So
yes,
he will be greatly missed. So if you come across some dirty humor, please laugh. Think of Tim. He would appreciate that.
There you go. Well, I'm sure we can always throw one or two innuendo lines around somewhere.
Exactly.
All right. So we're going to talk about The Return Part 12, obviously, as we hit the 2/3 mark.
I don't like that ratio of being 2/3 done. I like having 2/3 left more than I like 2/3 being done.
Yeah, it was a lot easier when it was episode 6 or part 6.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're on part 12 and feeling like we have a lot of ground left to cover in such a short amount of time that's dwindling away, it's getting a little stressful, I think. That because we want to see all these great scenes, we kind of imagine them in our heads, and we still have some characters we haven't even seen yet, like Big Ed. Where's Big Ed?
Where's Big Ed? No one buys gas in this town?
Apparently, what was it? That one deputy.
Okay,
does.
Jesse's new car.
Jesse.
Apparently needs gas, and that's about it.
Yeah, but we're not going to show Big Ed's gas farm, apparently.
No, we're just going to talk about Jesse's new car and that he was out there.
Exactly. So, obviously, we've got a lot to cover. So, part 12 has gotten some mixed reactions from people. So, I'm kind of curious about your thoughts about this one. And I guess we'll just start right off with Gordon and Albert, as we open with them sitting down with Tammy.
Did I not say last week that Tammy has learned to watch and listen, and she's going to move up in the world?
Yep.
In the FBI?
You did. We didn't think it was going to be that quick, though.
I didn't think it was going to be that fast, but I was like, well, go Tammy.
Yep.
Tammy has been invited to join Blue Rose.
She's officially in the boys' club.
Yes, that's true.
She's cracking that glass ceiling.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And I loved the line that Albert says that you may have noticed that I'm the only one that has not gone missing. Hence Gordon's reluctance to bring anyone new into the fold, which.
Well, then you have
she's sort of looking like, yeah, I've noticed that.
Well, I think it's just that was odd, because it's like, okay, everybody that seems to join this Blue Rose Task Force, and how great is it that we actually have a name for this now, the Blue Rose Task Force.
Right.
Seems to end up disappearing under really dark circumstances.
Right.
So hey, you want to join our club? And,
Yeah.
you know,
There's only five of us and three
yep,
of us. Who the heck knows?
yeah,
But come on in.
exactly. But I want
It's
to know
like
how
it's
Albert's managed to not disappear.
um I part of me thinks it's because Albert has been the forensics guy, so he's been in the lab for most of
So
it.
he hasn't been directly involved, is what you're saying.
Right, he hasn't been in the field as much as
Right.
Desmond and Cooper and Jeffries.
Now that was another thing I thought was interesting. We finally got a mention of Chet Desmond, who hasn't been referenced in the entire return. So it's at least they're acknowledging that. I don't know if it's just a passing reference. I'm hoping we get to see Chris Isaac at some point. That would be great.
That would be nice to see Chet Desmond come back. I would like to see him come back and be a little more healthy than Philip Jeffries or Cooper as they've come back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Um,
Now I thought it was somebody brought this up online. I forget who, but they brought up the fact that it was interesting that a lot of these Blue Rose Task Force members are singers because you had David Bowie,
right.
Chris
Chris
Isaac,
Isaac.
and now Chrysta Bell.
Right.
So it's interesting that that Lynch seems to gravitate toward bringing in singers that maybe aren't
And
necessarily known for their acting, but he wants maybe they just he likes their look or
or just
or how
something
they how
about
they how they carry themselves probably.
and interesting and here's another thing too, back to what we were just saying. Miguel Ferrer,
Hmm.
not a singer, but who is his mother?
Oh yeah,
His mother, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is Rosemary
Rosemary
Clooney.
Clooney. Yeah. Oh, so
So
he's kind of related to George Clooney, isn't he?
they're cousins.
That's
They're
right.
cousins.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so he's not a singer, but he's one step removed from a
Removed.
singer.
Right.
So even in real life and in the show,
Well, apparently Jose Ferrer was also a singer.
he was he was
So
not to the level of fame that Rosemary Clooney was.
no, no, not at all. But from what I understand, maybe I think it was like yeah, he it was like in the 50s or something. Maybe he put out
Hmm.
some albums.
Yeah,
So yeah. So
right.
he at least attempted that singing career.
And Miguel Ferrer can sing with that voice. He's got to be able to
Right.
sound pretty darn good. But yeah, that's interesting because yeah, they are all singers, and he is the child of singers. So
Yep. That keeping it all
keeping it
closely
all
related, all the
is
singing.
is David Lynch this over obsessing when he writes things, or are we just
Well,
reading it because we know stuff?
well, I mean, just if you, it's an interesting pattern. Let's just put it that way.
It is an interesting pattern. That is very true.
Yeah. So the Gordon and Albert, they kind of almost, it's not really a ceremony, but just they have this kind of sit down final interview with Tammy about whether she
Hmm.
wants to take the job. And Gordon, before they sit down, he's holding what looks like a sonic screwdriver and he's waving this thing around. It's
Yeah,
red. It's like a red sonic screwdriver that he's kind of waving it around the room like he's like
right.
checking for what? Bugs or for like supernatural activity or what do you think that was about?
I have no idea. I was thinking bugs more than
Yeah,
anything
right.
because he's on to Diane. He is
Yes.
totally on to her. So I think that was part of that, but I'm not, this is Twin Peaks. That could be something completely
Yeah.
out of our realm.
Yeah. So we did so they run down the history of the Blue Rose Task Force for Tammy and pretty much what we've pieced together already through little hints in the show and reading the various like the Twin Peaks novel by Mark Frost.
Right.
So we've like it was essentially it spun out of Project Blue Book when they shut down Project Blue Book, which was the government study of UFOs,
Hmm.
and
That Major Briggs was part of.
that Major Briggs was part of, and so There was like some secret organizations picked up the work where Project Blue Book left off, and one of those organizations is the Blue Rose Task Force. And what what I think it was Albert refers to as the troubling abstractions raised by cases that the Project Blue Book failed to resolve.
So the Blue Rose Task Force is
Yes,
sort of the Twin Peaks version of the X-Files.
pretty much. Pretty much.
So right, and with
Which is ironic because, of course, David Duchovny, who plays Denise Bryson, who works for the FBI, I might add,
who
goes off.
runs the FBI at this point?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Goes off and becomes Fox Mulder on the X-Files.
Yes, she's done quite well for herself.
Which a lot of us started watching because of Twin Peaks. Because it was one of those, it was almost like an unofficial spin-off series.
Well, and I've said this before on the podcast, and maybe I haven't. I've said it somewhere that I don't think there would have been an X-Files if there hadn't been a Twin Peaks.
I agree.
I don't think that TV networks would have, because I remember when I first saw the X-Files, I was impressed that it wasn't like a syndicated show.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many sort of horror and sci-fi syndicated shows out at that time.
Yeah.
That it just sort of seemed like something that I would have, maybe in.
It certainly wasn't like Star Trek: The Next Generation.
No,
back then, or
which also was a syndicated show.
Exactly.
It did not have a network.
Yeah.
And it would be something that in the 80s I would have expected to be more of an anthology show, like an Amazing Stories or something like that, or a syndicated Saturday afternoon horror show like in Columbus, the Friday the 13th, the series.
Yes.
Was on Saturday evenings at 6 or 6:30. It was like before Next Gen came on.
Wasn't there also like a Nightmare on Elm Street series?
Yes, that was on Fridays.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was Tales from the Dark Side and Monsters, which was on Friday nights at 3 and 3:30 a.m. So that's what the X-Files sort of reminded me of, like a higher budget version of one of those syndication shows. So I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. I would have expected this to be on a Saturday afternoon. But here it was on Fox after The Simpsons. I mean, it had a really good time slot.
Right.
So, but yeah, I don't think there would have been an X-Files if there hadn't been a Twin Peaks.
Well, initially it was on Fridays, that first season.
Yeah.
And then I think they expected it to die. And then everybody started watching. And then they moved it over to Sundays after The Simpsons, and then it just took off.
Right, that was the thing. It was so good that everybody even though, and people don't know this about nerds and geeks, we do go out.
Believe it or not, on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were getting our friends together and staying home to watch the X-Files. It was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, because you had to work the next day, so you're like, hey, I'm going to stay in and watch television.
Right.
So it's like, and who was really watching Sunday night television at that point until the X-Files?
Right. Well, people were watching it because Sunday night was The Simpsons and Married with Children, two of some of the top-rated shows on Fox at the time.
That's right.
So it was The Simpsons and Tracy Ullman, and why do I know this? Why do I remember what was on TV on what night in like 1990? How does that?
Because that's when you were at the pinnacle of your geekhood.
I was also like in 1990. I was 14 years old.
Yeah,
so
you remember that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's like me with Doctor Who, remembering I was watching on WVIZ out of Cleveland, I used to watch it at Sundays or Saturdays at 4:00 in the afternoon, and so you just remember all this obscure trivia as a
why
teenager.
do I remember the start of NBC Thursday being where you needed to be when it was Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers, and Night Court? Like, why do I know that was the lineup in 1980?
And in that order.
Yeah, exactly in that order. How do I remember that still?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Or back in the day when you had Happy Days followed by Laverne and Shirley, and then Mork and Mindy. So
all spin-offs of each other.
Exactly. Well, yep. I'll spend Happy Days.
We were trying to think of the most successful spin-off the other day. I don't know if anybody is watching that CNN series about the 90s.
No.
It's the first episode was about television, and the episode title is the one about TV. And anybody who's a Friends fan,
Oh, Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first two TV shows that they talked about on that CNN show were The Simpsons and Twin Peaks.
Interesting.
So
I hope they rerun that. I want to check that out.
Yeah, if they don't, I still have it on the DVR. So you're welcome to come over and check it out.
Nice.
What was funny is we were watching it, and it started out with The Simpsons, and then somebody made a quote about television going in different places, and then cut to Ronette walking across the train tracks back into
they actually showed Ronette.
They actually showed Ronette.
Wow.
And Chris looks over at me, and he says, "Did you write this?"
What are you trying to say, Chris?
Did you write this?
Yeah, that's funny.
So we were trying to think of some of the most successful spin-offs.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the most successful spin-off is Frasier of all time. The most successful spin-off.
Because that show lasted 10 seasons, I think.
It lasted a long time, and it was good in its own right, and it didn't try to be Cheers.
Right.
But I really liked Mork and Mindy. Let's just be honest. Yeah. I really liked Mork and Mindy, and I really liked Laverne and Shirley too.
Yeah. They were good. They were definitely. So for you youngins who don't remember, there was television before the 90s.
There was television back in the 70s.
It's crazy.
But yes, I highly do recommend that documentary series. It's hard to find sometimes. CNN has done a week-long 5-episode documentary series on the 60s, 70s, 80s, and now they're doing the 90s.
Very cool.
And they usually do one on television, one on music, one on political climate, one on, that kind of thing.
So basically running like the pop culture and big news events.
Pop culture, political and social events, things like that. And where Chris is really looking forward to the 90s music episode.
Right.
So I think that one will be last. I think they usually bookend them with TV and then music, because TV does get you sucked in and make you nostalgic for the era. But yeah, it starts out with The Simpsons, goes right into Twin Peaks, and then keeps going about all the shows in the 90s, but things like the X-Files were on there. So if you can, and the problem is, though, being on CNN, if something happens in the world, the show's not on. You're watching Anderson Cooper or Wolf Blitzer.
Right. They'll break in with something. Yeah.
I think it was, I don't remember if it was the 70s or the 80s. It might have been the 80s, ironically enough. Was supposed to air around the time that Prince died. Yeah. So those were not on. I mean, it said they were going to be on, but they were on for weeks after that because there was so much information about Prince. But yeah, it's definitely they have some little short blips of interviews with David Lynch and. Very cool. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out if you haven't found that yet. So.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we also find out that the Blue Rose Task Force, going back, was named after a woman who was from one of the group's earliest cases who died.
Right.
And her last words were Blue Rose.
Blue Rose.
Blue Rose. So yeah, if I can get this to work.
Blue Rose. It doesn't get any bluer.
Exactly. So, doesn't get any bluer.
Doesn't get any bluer. And I wonder, and of course now I want to know who that is.
Yeah. So great. Another question. Yeah, let's get more questions in.
Yeah, is she Lil? Is she my mother's sister's girl? I mean, who is this person?
Right, exactly.
So I'm very curious as to who that was, because I don't remember mention of many people in Blue Book.
What if it's like Gordon's wife who died? And maybe this is why he's so obsessed with Blue Rose cases.
That's an interesting, because I don't remember the book talking about anybody from Blue Book other than Major Briggs and Milford.
Right.
They didn't really mention many other people.
No.
So maybe this will be something we find out in the final dossier.
That's true.
Which again, I hate that word final. I hate it.
Yeah. It's like penultimate.
Exactly.
We don't want to hear. We don't want to hear it.
Well,
All
that
right.
just means we're not gonna get anything else.
Exactly. So at this point, Diane shows up, walking through a set of red
Red
curtains.
curtains.
Red curtains. Of course, he's going to have a hotel room with red curtains in it.
I couldn't believe that when I saw it. That just sort of felt like, in case you haven't noticed, you're watching Twin Peaks.
Yeah, exactly. It was almost like screaming at this point. Hey, this is kind of like the Black Lodge. Get it?
I saw that too, and I have to say, I was very disappointed
Yeah,
that Diane got to say those words.
I was too. I was obviously we had speculated that it might have been Cooper at the end of the episode, and how great is like, well, that would have been great if it had been the words he spoke as finally being reawoken as Cooper.
And I just don't feel at this point that Diane is worthy of that.
Right.
I don't feel she's worthy of those lines.
Well, I think it was done with a bit of irony.
Oh, it totally was.
And
It totally was.
and if you notice, Diane seems to be getting quite the tan these days.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, almost kind of like her skin is kind of like Doppelganger Cooper's, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, it's bizarre.
That kind of like, just kind of, I don't know.
Leathery
That
looking.
leathery looking. Yeah, exactly.
And it could just be because of because of her white hair
Right.
against her skin.
The
But
contrast and the lighting.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Dern has never been a particularly tan lady, so
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm still more stranger and stranger as to what's going on with her. But I had that same feeling that I felt when, I don't know, have you seen the first, I forget which one, the first Planet of the Apes movie of this new reboot, the one with
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
yeah, the one with James Franco
Yeah.
and John Lithgow, where Tom Felton was the one who said, "Get your paws off me, you damn dirty ape." And I was like, Draco Malfoy does not deserve to
Right.
say those lines. I'm sorry. No offense, Tom Felton, but come on.
You are not worthy.
No, you do not get to say the most iconic line ever from all of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, it feels kind of cheap. That kind of felt to me like in the recent Terminator movie, Terminator Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
where the actress from Game of Thrones. I'm trying to remember. I'm blanking on her name.
Yeah, Cersei Lannister.
No, not her. That's the TV show.
Oh, that's a TV show.
Yeah, this was
it's Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Emilia Clarke is Sarah Connor, and she at first one of the lines that she delivers is the like, "Come with me if you want to live," and then she does the "Now, soldier." Like Linda
On
Hamilton.
your feet, soldier.
Yeah, just like Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2.
Right.
So I'm just like, you don't know. Just no. And I think that's one of the reasons that movie doesn't work, because it's like, no, you are not Linda Hamilton worthy, okay?
I would think Emilia Clarke. Emilia Clarke is who I want to run the Seven Kingdoms.
Right.
I want Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Snow to marry and rule the Seven Kingdoms.
Even though they're related.
I don't care. This is
That's just true. They're distant relations. Let's put it that way.
Okay, let's talk about Cersei and Jaime for a minute. If their offspring can be king, they can get married and have a couple of dragons.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But
well, they're off to a rocky relationship so far. Let's just
a little bit. A little bit.
If you're watching Game of Thrones this season,
I haven't yet. I've not had the time, so I'm hoping we'll catch up soon.
Oh, you haven't? Yeah, you've been missing some good stuff. They finally meet.
I know some things have happened that make me very, very happy.
Yep.
For those of you out there who are Avengers or Mystery or even Muppet fans,
right?
Diana Rigg has got to be one of your favorite people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, also from On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because she's Tracy Vincenzo Bond.
Yeah, she's Teresa Bond.
Yep. So yeah, she's Teresa Bond. So yeah, she's the woman who James Bond actually finds worthy enough to marry, and then of course she gets killed immediately by Blofeld because Blofeld is a dick.
Yeah,
And
that does not work out well for
but
either one of them.
but it's one of the
So
most heartbreaking and one of the best scenes ever in a Bond movie, in my opinion.
it's fantastic. And what is it? Lazenby says this never happened to the other guy.
Yeah, this that was at the beginning of the movie, but yeah,
Yeah, that was the beginning of the movie,
yeah,
exactly. So, yeah, Diana Rigg is one of my because I was a huge fan of the TV show Mystery.
yeah.
And she was the host of that after Vincent Price left. And I am also a huge Muppet fan, and if you've ever seen the Great Muppet Caper, Diana Rigg steals the show. Diana Rigg and
Yeah.
Charles Grodin both steal that show. So, yeah, so I've heard some things about Diana Rigg's character that I'm just like, yes.
And of course, as Emma Peel in the Avengers, where she kicked
Emma Peel,
unholy ass.
Unholy ass, definitely.
Yeah,
So
yeah, go check that out.
right, but yes, Diane says "Let's rock,"
Diane-
and sort of does this sort of like she makes like a little gun,
it's like she's turning like the finger as a gun, like
right, and it sort of reminded me of that.
Oh yeah, the Laura's move.
The Laura's fire starting thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah, with her fingers in the Black Lodge. Yeah,
I keep forgetting that only Charles can see me. So when I make hand motions, you guys don't know what I'm doing. Sorry about that.
So does that feed my doppelganger Laura theory?
Ew, at this point, I'm just sitting back and just letting it happen. Because to quote Homer Simpson, I have brilliant. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, yeah. So, all right. So Diane wants to know what's in this for her because she's asked to join the task force as like a deputy.
She's not asked to join the task force. She's asked to be deputized by the FBI.
Oh, okay. I thought she was asked to join the task force. As a deputy,
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to deputize her. I don't think they're letting her in that far.
Okay. Because obviously they want to keep. It seems obvious they do this just to keep an eye on her, keep her around.
Exactly. They are onto her, and they're still monitoring her texts.
Right.
So I think it's definitely.
Albert says, yeah, like, hey, maybe you want to, you'll have the satisfaction of learning what happened to your friend Cooper.
Right.
So, which, if you recall, was initially why she supposedly started tagging along in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But
exactly.
Supposedly. So, that's where we kind of leave off for a little while, and then we go back and catch up with Gordon and Albert again. Albert visits Gordon's hotel room, and Gordon apparently is entertaining someone. A French woman played by Berenice Marlowe.
And once again, could we possibly move any slower?
Yeah. Très chic.
Oh my goodness. And, can't quite tell if she's a hooker or if it's just someone he met in the bar, but
I know this is another scene that was driving people crazy because this French woman takes forever and a day just to get up off the couch and walk out the door.
Just to put her shoes on. She takes forever.
And she's doing this Charlie Chaplin mugging, silent movie mugging.
Oh my gosh.
As she's doing this to Gordon, and Gordon is just kind of getting his rocks off a little bit about it. Mm-hmm. And Albert, meanwhile, his expression is priceless because Albert is over there staring daggers at Gordon going, "Are you effing kidding me?
Seriously, this is what we're doing."
Yes. Are you
in Buckhorn, South Dakota. Yeah. This is what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
No offense to sex workers of Buckhorn. I'm sure you guys do a great job, but they have things to do here.
Yeah, but hey, thanks for listening to our podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Exactly. So as obviously you are, if you're offended by it. Just saying.
Not saying you're doing a bad job. I'm just saying, leave Gordon Cole alone. He's got stuff to do.
Yeah. He's got things to do.
He's got things to do.
All right. So Gordon says some lame joke about a turnip, and then Albert talks about that Diane received another text from Evil Cooper asking about Las Vegas, and she replies on her text, "They haven't asked yet."
What do we know about Las Vegas? Well, okay, hopefully Albert is going to Google Las Vegas news and see Doug's
That's
picture
what I'm hoping.
and Ike the Spike, that sort of thing. And what was funny, I thought,
Yeah.
is when Albert walks in the room and sees Gordon with the can't put on her shoes lady.
Yeah.
Um,
We should just call her that.
Said,
can't put on my shoes, lady.
Can't put on her shoes, lady. And he just says, could you ask your friend to wait downstairs? All I could think of was RoboCop. Bitches leave.
Oh, nice.
That's all I could think of.
Nice. Yeah, because Miguel Ferrer did do that, didn't he? Yes.
Well, they were models. They were models.
Yeah,
but,
that was that scene where I think he was doing coke off the table, if I remember correctly.
Well, he started with off the table, and then it was one of the models' breasts.
Yeah.
Yes, he had the two models, and they're doing cocaine, and he talks about how intelligent women are just so sexy.
Yeah.
and then Clarence Boddicker comes in and just says, "Bitches leave."
Yeah.
And then he,
which was epic, by the way.
Which was great, and then he finds out that Dick Jones is gonna kill him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what that scene reminded me of. When he walked in, my first thought was, "Bitches leave."
That's funny. That's great. So the other thing about with Gordon and Albert, and well, really Diane at this point, is we catch back up with her again later very late in the episode. She's back at the bar. Surprise! She's at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Plugging in.
I know where she drinks.
Exactly. So she's plugging in the coordinates that she memorized off of that photo that Albert was so foolish and letting her.
And did we not say that we knew what she was gonna find?
Yeah, unless he did that deliberately, knowing she would probably try to do that.
Right.
So, so she plugs those coordinates in. Guess where they lead?
A tiny little town in the mountains called Twin Peaks.
5 miles south of the Canadian border, 12 miles west of the state line. So yeah,
they got a cherry pie. That'll kill you.
That'll kill you. Unless it doesn't kill you, which
could be the pie that saves your life. You never know with cherry pie,
as we talked about last time. So,
yep.
So yeah, so that's kind of where that storyline's left off. We catch up with Jerry, who finally makes it out of Ghostwood Forest.
Out of the woods. He's just, you don't really see him. Oh, please do it.
I will.
Thank you.
I think I'm high.
Yes.
That should just be our Jerry update.
That's our Jerry update.
I think I'm
high. David Patrick Kelly, you are so fantastic.
Yeah.
Please do the convention circuit so Charles and I can meet you and tell you how awesome you are in person.
I'd be really tempted. It's like I'm playing I'd play the soundbite just right there. As I'm like, please sign this, and then please sign my cell phone that you've immortalized.
Exactly. We're gonna walk up to him with like a smoked cheese pig.
Yeah.
Banana bread and like bottles on our fingers. Yeah. We're gonna be like, David Patrick Kelly,
come
we love you.
Come out to the convention.
Come out to play at Wizard World.
That's great. Yeah.
So yeah, Jerry, we don't know where he's going, but he's made it out of the woods. But he kind of looks like he's running from something.
Yeah, something he either was freaked out by in the woods, or he's in a hurry to tell it to somebody.
Something,
but
yeah.
He's hightailing it so much, then he falls down, and then he kind of reminded me a little bit because of that, his look and his beard and everything. It kind of reminds me of the Michael Palin as the It's guy from Monty Python's, at the beginning of Monty Python's Flying Circus, where he's running around and then he stumbles and he gets up and he goes like, he's all out of breath and goes, it's. Yeah.
Oh my God, we are such nerds, Charles.
Hey.
We are so awesome. I love us both. I didn't even think about that, but you are so right. You are so right.
You totally understood my reference.
The second you said it, I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Am I right? Yeah. Am I right?
Uh-huh. You are 100% right. That is so funny.
Thank you. All right. So from here we go. Apparently, we go shopping at the Twin Peaks supermarket.
Oh my goodness. What
And
is going on?
in a very big scene with Sarah Palmer, who we haven't seen since part 2.
We
So
have not. She is buying Bloody Mary mix and pretty much all of the Pop-Up,
yeah, yeah,
which for those of you who don't know is a very, very cheap vodka here in the United States.
she is stocking up like there's no tomorrow, to the point where her register bill is $113.
Seriously, which, I'm not
Or
saying I haven't spent that at the
133,
liquor store.
something like that. But like, damn,
Yeah.
woman.
I'm not saying I haven't spent that at the liquor store, but I am saying I was having a party when it happened.
Yeah. So yeah, and of course she's buying. She's like, okay, give me a pack of Camels or a Salem.
Has
So,
that jerky always been there?
yep. Yeah. So this is, and then she sees this display of jerky. There's like beef jerky, and then there's turkey jerky.
Is it smoked?
Yeah, and this totally sets her off for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, we hear some very familiar music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where have we heard that before? Well, gee, I guess a little movie called Twin Peaks Fire Walk with
Or
Me.
Walk With Me. Yeah.
Because, this was the music that was playing like during Teresa Banks's autopsy.
Right.
Or I think it was was it also at the intersection scene? I can't remember. But there was a couple
It's so
other
hard
places.
to remember. I just remember yelling at the intersection scene.
Yeah, but it was definitely, at the very least, I know it's from the autopsy scene because, that's where
Right.
I grabbed that. But I think it's, when something supernatural is going down and we hear that really disturbing music.
That's not good.
It's not good. So,
And
yes.
I'm leaning more and more towards Sarah being possessed by something.
Okay.
Because of how she just changes her tone and her mood so much during this scene.
Yeah. And then
And
also
something like
later.
like that. Like, who talks that much about jerky?
Yeah.
People who don't know what it's like to be people. Or entities that don't know what it's like to be
Exactly.
people. Nobody talks that much about jerky.
Well, and as we suspected, that that frog thing that crawled into her mouth as a young girl.
Well, we're still not 100% sure about that.
No.
That is looking more and more.
Yeah, doesn't it seem likely though?
Yeah, it's looking more and more likely.
So she starts like totally freaking out the cashier and the bag boy that are there. She says like, were you here when they first came? Not sure who they are.
It seems different. Men are coming. You have to watch out. Things can happen. Something happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was like not at all unsettling. So what did happen?
Grace Zabriskie again needs like a special Lifetime Achievement Emmy for her work in Twin Peaks for being so emotionally raw and riveting.
I mean, just you could totally see the damage in this woman's face.
Oh,
and it's always been like that. It was back she had that look, ever since the Twin Peaks pilot. Where, she's, obviously freaking out over finding out that her daughter Laura has died. And then, that great cliffhanger at the end of the pilot.
Where she just wakes up with a start and gasp.
Yeah, exactly. And that horrific scream. And then, obviously, in Fire Walk With Me, where, the scenes with Leland, like that really, really uncomfortable dinner table scene.
Yes. Stop that. She doesn't like that.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you know what she likes?
Yeah, so...
Oh, gosh.
So Grace Zabriskie, holy crap, once again.
She's unbelievably fantastic.
And we had those, and then she talks about how she doesn't feel good, and then she's like coaching herself about how to find her keys to get in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And she just leaves her groceries there at the store, and the bag boy's like, well, I guess I could kind of deliver those.
Yeah, I know where she lives. I could maybe deliver those, and the other woman at the store's like, okay, whatever, your funeral.
You knock yourself out. I'm going to stay away from the crazy lady.
Exactly.
So Sarah leaves, and then later in the episode, Deputy Chief Hawk shows up at her door, presumably having heard about what went down at the supermarket.
And that's what she says. She's like, I guess you heard what happened at the supermarket.
Yeah.
And when they go to the Palmer house... Did you notice that when they first show you the interior of the house, you see a ceiling fan?
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. I liked
Yeah,
that touch. I thought that was a nice touch.
we obviously got the ceiling fan, and we got a glimpse of the stairwell too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and hey, doesn't it look a lot like the stairwell the woodsmen were walking down in last week's episode?
Exactly.
So, so when Sarah answers the door, um, seems like she has like one expression on her face, and then her expression sours. I mean, like remember like Lil in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. She had a
Mm-hmm.
sour expression.
Which is interesting because the sour expression means that you're going to have problems with the local law enforcement.
Mm. I don't know if that has any connection, but
Yeah, I don't know either, but
yeah, I mean, Grace, like she's a completely different woman at this point, and again, that feeds to your possession
hmm
theory because yeah, she just like this real like evil, sinister face, and like she's doesn't obviously doesn't want to be talking to Hawk right now.
no, not at all.
And at first she tries to deny what's going on, and then at some point she cracks and says, "It's a goddamn bad story, isn't it, Hawk?"
hmm
And while he's talking, Hawk hears what sounds like a rattle of bottles or dishes.
Someone's in the house.
Someone's in the house, and
I don't know who it is, and I don't know if part of me wonders if the kid from the supermarket showed up,
right,
and now he's trapped there.
or he's dying. Maybe he went over
Something.
there and she's like killed him or something, or
Yeah,
in the
something's
process
wrong
of
with
like
him.
maybe he's struggling, or
Yeah,
she's just
that's what worries me.
she says, "Oh, it's just a stack of something settling in the kitchen,"
hmm
or is it like, "Hey, the woodsman," or
Right.
is something involving Laura?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know, but something.
Yes,
There's more
yes.
going on with Sarah Palmer.
But I was riveted in this point. I'm just like, okay, I need to know what's going on in Sarah's kitchen right now.
Seriously. Yeah,
Something,
because something is up with her.
yeah.
Something is majorly up with her.
And of course, just to make us like scream at the television, that's all we get for this week.
That's all we get.
Ugh, you're killing us. You're killing us. So the next storyline we pick up with, we go back to the new Fat Trout Trailer Park, where everybody's favorite hero now, Carl Rod, attends to a friend named Criskel, which is the weirdest name ever, Criskel.
Crystal, yeah. I just love that he has a hand painted wood sign that says, 9:30, never before.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. It's gone from like something taped to the window of his, or taped to his front door to like a nice elaborate sign. But that was a great shout out to Fire Walk with Me.
I love that.
That was
so funny.
I'm glad you brought that up because I totally forgot to bring that. So yeah, that was great. So yeah, Criskel's like some like in like a hobble, like he's a hobbling like infirmed guy that apparently he's having cash problems, and apparently he's like selling his blood to make ends meet. And Criskel apparently just is like, well, is anybody paying you for that? No, but you do all this stuff around the neighborhood.
Odd jobs for people, yeah.
And he says, are you getting paid for that? No. So okay, so Carl decides, hey, I'm going to put a dollar value on this, and gives him some cash and says, okay, hey, your rent for this month, don't worry about it.
Don't pay me rent this month.
And, like he says,
shouldn't sell your blood for food.
Yeah, keep your blood, Driscoll.
Mm-hmm.
But, says, if you ever need help again, just ask. So
Carl Rod is the salt of the earth, man.
So apparently Carl is like the national treasure of Twin Peaks.
He's just incredible.
So, yeah. So that was great. So it's great, always great to get another Harry Dean Stanton scene. So
always great to see the Harry Dean Stanton, and it just shows you that he's sort of this sentinel, just watching out over everybody.
I think that's a great word right now. I think that's it, because of what he's been through. He's just you would think that what's been going down in that trailer park? You think
so many bad things.
You think he would have left by now, but apparently he's staying there for a reason.
He's got to watch over everybody. He
Yeah.
has he has his
He
own
feels
job to do.
he feels either protective of these people, or maybe he feels like he has to protect them from whatever evil shenanigans are going on there.
Or protect them themselves. These could just be people who are strays, because a trailer park
Yeah. Kind of
does
like
not exactly reek of permanence. You know, your house is literally on wheels. You
right,
can be nomadic when your home is a trailer.
right. And then obviously
And
we have horrible situations like with Stephen and Becky.
mhm.
So he feels
And then everything that went down with Teresa and the Chalfonts and all that stuff. I mean, he's there for a reason.
yeah, we obviously need to know more about Carl.
Yes.
He's becoming increasingly fascinating. Let's put it that way.
Carl's so wonderful. Yes.
Obviously, a lot more, they're doing a lot more with him here than they did in Fire Walk with Me, which is great. We get a really quick scene cutting to Twin Peaks Hospital, the Calhoun Memorial Hospital.
Miriam is hooked up to
Mary, and it was great because we got that one like establishing shot of the hospital hallway.
Mm-hmm. Which are we going to see a smiling bag, or are we going to see a woodsman, or what are we going to see?
Yeah, so we're just like that right there was kind of creepy by itself. But then,
Very.
it almost kind of like she was in. It almost looked like she was in the exact same room Jacques Renault was in.
Right. Jacques Renault, or even Shelley. I mean, the rooms all look the same.
Exactly. It's an ER, so or intensive care. So yeah, but she's on life support. But interestingly, did you catch what was on her bedside table?
I didn't.
A bouquet of blue roses.
How did I miss that?
I know. How did you...
Blue rose. It doesn't get any bluer.
How did I miss that?
You're going to have to go back and watch now.
Goodness.
So, yeah. Bouquet of blue roses. What's
I
up
think I
with
was just
that?
so glad that she was still alive that I wasn't even paying attention.
Right. But presumably Richard's got to find out that she's there.
Richard's got to find out that she's there.
He's got to make a move.
Somebody.
But you would think Harry would, or I mean not Harry. Frank would have somebody stationed, watching over Miriam, right?
Well, and that's the thing. That's what we find out, is that Frank knows that Richard put Miriam in the hospital and that he killed that little boy.
Right.
So I think they are keeping an eye on her, or at least
I would hope so.
Restricting visitors or something like that, because Richard is not. He's not around. So so he goes and talks to Ben.
Yeah, so
and says,
that's a great segue, by the way.
He says, "Listen, I got to talk to you because we know that Richard is the one that killed the little boy, and that he put Miriam in the hospital. He tried to blow up her trailer. He beat her up, and she's a nursery school teacher, no insurance, needs an operation. I was hoping you might be able to help us out with that."
Now, Ben has a really great line at this point. He's like, "That boy has never been right." And at which point we're watching this going, no shit.
Uh-huh. And so he starts talking about how Richard never had a father, but how Ben has such a fond memory of the bike his father gave him. So he's sort of thinking about what it means to a boy to have a father you can trust and look up to.
Yeah.
And he's probably feeling a little bit regretful in the fact that he couldn't have been more of that as in his grandfather role.
Right.
But and this is where I feel like I got the confirmation, and we'll go back.
Or does he just regret that? Hey, Richard never had a father like he had a father.
Right, something like that. He's sort of lamenting Richard's loss and what that actually does to what that can do to someone. And we'll go back in a second.
But again, it's Ben making it not about Richard, but about himself.
About himself, yeah. And we'll go back to Frank and Ben's conversation in a second. But with this, I got the confirmation that Ben Horne is still good Ben, in spite of wanting to have an affair with Beverly and in spite of the cigars. Because Frank does, basically, he says, "I want you to know that we're looking for Richard, and when we find him, we're bringing him in, because he is wanted for murder,
Right.
And if you could maybe help out this nursery school teacher, that would be great. She's going to have some major hospital bills and she has no insurance. And
And he's like, of course, I'll take care of it. Yeah.
he says, of course, I'll take care of it. And he calls Beverly in. And he says, I want you to get with Twin Peaks Hospital and make sure that everything is taken care of for Miriam.
Yeah, but he doesn't call her Miriam because he immediately forgets her name.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he's like he couldn't he couldn't remember her last name or whatever, even though
he's like, I can't think of the name, and she's like, I'll find it, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's like even though like Frank just told him,
right?
But yeah, and then this is when he starts going on about his bike, this old Schwinn that his dad got him.
Mm-hmm. But there was a time when I honestly think that Ben Horne would have called in Jerry and said something like,
make this go away.
I don't think Miriam's going to get better. Something like that.
Right.
So I think the fact that he's not trying to make sure that she succumbs to her injuries.
You think Ben has gone legit, is what you're saying?
Good Ben is still with us.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I do.
Okay. So we'll see. But hopefully it's at the moment it seems that way.
That's what it seems like.
Unless we find out something differently. Yeah, it looks like it.
Right.
All right. So next thing we have that we haven't covered, Gary Hutchins and Chantal.
Next stop, Wendy's.
Yes, this scene was straight out of a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh, exactly.
And I have to wonder if it was David Lynch, like as a tribute to Tarantino, because Tarantino was obviously influenced by David Lynch.
Right.
And here we have two of Quentin's actors, Tim Roth and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where they finally follow through on Doppelganger Cooper's instructions to take out Warden Murphy.
Right.
And so they go there. Chantal wants Wendy's, and she's like,
but
hey.
Hutch is trying to decide whether they should just kill him or torture him, then kill him. And she's like, well, I saw Wendy's back there.
Yeah, she's just like, just get it over with.
Right. She doesn't want to wait there that much longer. She's hungry. She wants to go.
So Hutch kills Warden Murphy with 2 shots, leaves his dead body in the driveway, and hey, his young kid just walks out and goes, Dad! So we got another horribly traumatized kid or family member.
Because he doesn't just shoot him twice. He shoots him, he falls, and then he starts to get up.
Yeah.
And then he shoots him in the back of the head, which was, pretty
the kill
pretty
shot.
Squishy. It was a pretty squishy effect.
Yeah. And then next stop everywhere. Next stop Wendy's.
Did you just use the tragic death of some little kid's father to plug your other podcast?
Maybe.
Maybe just a little bit. But yeah,
is that a problem?
She just revs up the car and he just yells, "Next stop, Wendy's."
Yeah, I just couldn't resist. I love that. But
it was a pretty good segue. I'm pretty impressed.
And hey, since we're based here in the Columbus area, how great was it to get Wendy's get a shout out?
Yes, Wendy's, an Ohio original.
Yeah, exactly. So
an Ohio copy of an Ohio original.
That's true. Yeah, but
Yes, for those of you who are unaware of the history of Wendy's hamburgers, Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, is from a town up northeast of Columbus called Lima, Ohio.
Right.
And he worked for a little place there called Kewpie Burger, which sells square hamburgers. So he just sort of took that idea and ran with it.
And made a lot of money with it.
Yep. If you were ever in the Lima, Ohio area, they got a square burger there.
That'll kill you.
That'll kill you.
Nice.
Kewpie's very tasty. Kewpie's very, very good.
Now I want that burger.
I know, right? Next stop, Wendy's.
Next stop, Kewpie. But yeah, it was great because it was just great. Because normally when we reference fast food places, they're like either Taco Bell or McDonald's.
Right.
So I just thought it was great to finally get a Wendy's reference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
on a show.
Charles and I both are like 15 minutes away from the Wendy's like international headquarters.
Yeah, exactly.
It's and I have known people who have come here to visit and have been like, did we just drive a whole block and not see a Wendy's? Because they are fairly prominent here.
Just a little bit.
But
Especially right down the street from me because there's just right here on Tribune. Yep, it's great.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, and all summer long, 50-cent Frosties.
nice,
So there you go.
nice, nice. Now I know what I'm doing for lunch tomorrow. Thanks.
Exactly. Get some fries, dip it in your Frosty. That's
Exactly.
an Ohio. That is an Ohio delicacy, people. Get some fries,
Yep.
get a Frosty, and you dip your fries in your Frosty. Some of you might be thinking that I must be insane, but it is delicious.
It's a thing here, but it's not a thing I personally subscribe to because
Charles,
I
you
like
gotta get on board with this.
I'm a purist. I like my fries pure,
Well, okay.
untainted by shake or
There's
Skinny
fries,
Frosty.
there's fries, and then there's ice cream and shakes and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But then there's fries and a Frosty. It's like it's its own thing.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not saying put your Baconator fries in your Frosty. I'm just saying your regular old fries.
But it does give you that salty, sweet taste.
Oh, it is. I'm going to have to do that tonight. I'm seriously, like, my mouth is watering. Because I'm not a huge fan of fries in the first place. Like, usually,
See, I love fries.
usually we go places and, if we're on the road and we're getting fast food, or if it's just late and we're, being lazy,
Right.
I'll get something, and then Chris will get a combo meal. I'll take his drink, and he takes the fries because I don't like the fries. I'm not a big fan of fries.
Okay.
But when it comes to fries and a Frosty,
You're in.
I am all over that noise.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. All right. So we had that. We get a quick installment of the Dr. Amp show.
Oh, the Dr. Amp show.
So, and hey, Nadine is still there watching, and apparently the vibe I got somewhat aroused as she's watching Dr. Amp. Or was or am I totally misreading that scene?
No, I don't think you're misreading that scene at all. Especially since, he's going back to talking about the shit shovel.
Yep.
And we get to see that commercial again.
I thought it was almost like they were just replaying the previous scene that we'd seen with Dr. Amp. I thought they were just like rehashing that, but it looked like Nadine is reacting to it differently.
No, it's a different scene. But that's the thing about Dr. Amp. He just sort of rambles about the same crap every week.
He recycles it, yeah.
Yeah, he's on his crazy ramble, and he always starts the show with, "It's 7:00. Do you know where your freedom is?"
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, they're talking. He's talking about the shit shovel and how it can change your life, and she just says, "It's working for me, Dr. Amp." And so you're like, "What are you doing with that shovel, Nadine?"
And then we're going, ew, 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 ew.
Oh, gross. But yeah, like I said before, I think there's some sort of Florence Nightingale thing going on with her.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Nadine. She tends to fixate.
She does.
Just a wee bit. Just ask Mike.
Oh, my goodness. Do you have any idea what a combination of sexual maturity and superhuman strength can result in?
Nice.
That's Mike's best line in the whole series.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
And he delivers it like a boss.
Yes, he does.
Good job, Gary Hirschberger.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But so.
Oh, and also for not hiring Steven.
Yeah, good job on that one too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, good call there.
It's like, yeah, seriously. Like, if Mike won't hire you, you're an ass.
Yeah, you have totally failed at life.
Yeah, you are a complete. I mean, if he thinks you're like a loser, idiot, moron, you are bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
this was a guy who was in a jail cell with Bobby Briggs barking at people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is Mike, Mr. Bonehead Boyfriend.
Mr. Bonehead Boyfriend, yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that description of him.
I love him. I guess this is going to involve another conversation with Mike, Mr. Bonehead Boyfriend.
I want to see Harriet so bad.
I want to see Harriet too.
But
I mean, I hope she's doing better than Gersten.
Has to be, right?
Jeez.
So, at this point, we finally get the return.
And now Zan is so happy. Yay!
Of Audrey Horne.
Audrey Horne is back, but what in the hell is going on with Audrey?
Yeah, apparently the vibe I got from this is that at some point Audrey became the Catherine Martell of the Return era.
Okay.
I mean, just
so yeah, she has this husband that is taking care of stuff.
She's got exactly. She's got kind of a milquetoast husband that she just, abuses and isn't happy with. She's in a loveless marriage. She's having an affair on the side, just like Catherine did.
And that he knows about, he's well aware of.
Yeah. So we're introduced to Charlie, no relation, but and who's played by Clark Middleton, who's just like this guy who turns up in like really weird places, and just a great character actor. He was great.
Yeah,
he's great on Fringe. If you watched Fringe.
Okay, because I know I'd seen him before, but I hadn't had a chance to look him up yet. But I was like,
yeah, he was a recurring character in Fringe. So but he's been a bunch of other stuff too. So yeah, apparently Audrey and Charlie have this like really like disjointed conversation that we're like watching this going, okay, you're talking about stuff, but it's going way over our heads. We have no idea what you're talking about. The best thing I was able to understand here is that apparently the two have some sort of contract in their marriage that leaves them like tied together, but they're not in love. And Audrey's calling Charlie a spineless, no balls loser.
You have no balls. That's why I'm in love with Billy.
Exactly.
So they're looking for Billy. He's been missing for 2 days.
Right. So essentially, yeah, Audrey wants Charlie to help her look for her lover.
Yeah, like her boyfriend because that she has because Charlie has no balls apparently.
And Charlie doesn't want to go because apparently Charlie's tired.
He's so sleepy, Audrey, he has a deadline.
Yeah.
He would rather go to sleep right now, but he has a lot of work to do. But
he's just
Billy
kind of
has been missing.
He's just kind of like, whatever. And Audrey's all insistent about it.
Billy's been missing for 2 days, so she's worried.
And Audrey says, hey, I had a dream about Billy the other night. So again, we have more dreams going on.
More dreaming, yes.
So which is obviously important in Lynch's world. And apparently he was bleeding from the nose and mouth. So either she had some kind of like Sarah Palmer-like vision, or is this all a dream? And Audrey goes on to say that someone named Chuck, again, no relation, stole Billy's car.
That's making me laugh extra hard because I did just recently watch Die Hard.
Okay.
I'm Agent Johnson. This is Agent Johnson.
No relation.
No relation?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Hello, this is Agent Johnson. No, the other one.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad I'm making you laugh. So yeah, that was. But apparently Chuck stole Billy's car and gets Tina on the phone now. Okay, who the hell's Billy? Who the hell's Chuck? Who the hell is Tina? At this point, so Charlie gets Tina on the phone. They have a conversation for a good long while, and you're just like, what the hell? And then he hangs up the phone, and then. He just looks at Audrey. He just looks at Audrey, and Audrey is beside herself at this point.
You're not going to tell me what she said?
Yeah, she says this twice, and like she says it once, and then incredulous, and then she just like yells at him, "You're not going to tell me what she said?" And
well, he says to her, he's talking to her, he's like, "That is some crazy shit, Tina. With something's going on with Chuck." And then he says, "Okay, I promise."
Yeah.
And I think part of the promise was not to tell Audrey what she just told him.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
But this seems like just again, it's David Lynch trolling the audience. I think at this point, because that kind of reaction is exactly how we feel about a lot of scenes that you're just left hanging. Going, what's all this about? What?
Yeah, exactly.
What the hell?
Come on back. Come on back.
So yeah, I got to think this is David Lynch just deliberately yanking people's chains. And now the question is this Billy the same Billy that, if you remember, there was a character that was played by David Lynch's son that shows up at the end of one of the previous episodes at the Double R Diner looking for Billy?
I think it is the same Billy. Yeah. Has anybody seen Billy?
Yeah, is Billy? We think is Billy the farmer that was supposed to meet with Andy but didn't show up?
Right, because they're talking about stolen trucks and stuff like that.
And we thought that something had happened to him, maybe inside his house.
Right. So I was thinking the same exact thing about what's going on with Billy.
So the question here is all right, is this all going to get connected to what Andy was investigating?
Right. And she starts, and also Audrey, if Charlie's not going to help her look for Billy,
Right.
she's going to send Paul.
Right.
And is that the same Paul from the Fat Trout?
It's a good question.
Like Paul and is it Paul and Linda? Is Paul and Linda married to Linda?
Linda.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know
would think I would remember that because those are literally my parents' names.
Okay.
That's why I'm thinking
you should know this.
I'm like, that can't be right on Twin Peaks because that's like right in real life. So
well, I know Linda was that woman in the wheelchair that I remember that.
Yeah. And Paul's the one with the VW bus that drives Carl around.
That presumably, according to the giant, is that has that connection to Richard somehow. Richard and Linda.
Yeah, Richard and Linda.
So.
And so I was thinking that's got to be who Paul is. Right. But yeah, I was thinking it was the same Billy of Has Anyone Seen Billy?
Yeah. So, and somehow all of this is going to get wrapped up in 6 episodes.
Oh my God, please
somehow
wrap it up. Yes.
Unless we're getting another season somehow.
And can we get an explanation about what's been up with Audrey, where Richard came from, what's going on with that?
Well, because that was the other thing. We find out that, hey, she's not in a coma.
She's not in a coma, she's married.
When did you wake up? How did she hook up with Charlie? What's up with that?
How she hooked up with Charlie? How old was Richard when that happened? And if Richard never had a father,
right?
Is Charlie a recent husband? Like, what's going on with that? Like, how does that work? And there's so much more I want to know about Audrey.
So many questions.
So many questions.
So yeah, that's all we need at this point. So many more questions. Yes.
Exactly. And if you're going to give us more questions, don't write a book called The Final Dossier.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, hey, all that stuff that you wanted to know in the show, well, guess here it is.
Mm-hmm.
So buy my book.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah. So.
And then our final scene is another head scratcher where we've returned to the roadhouse and we have not the women that we've been following, like Armpit Girl.
No, not Armpit Rash Girl, but somebody else.
But, so we get two other women. They're sitting there drinking Heinekens, and which I have to think is a shout out to Blue Velvet.
Yeah, my dad drinks Bud, King of Beers.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Heineken. F that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Exactly.
Which is so funny because when you say that to young hipsters these days, they have no idea what you're talking about. You're like, do you have any idea why your beer is even remotely cool at this point?
Exactly.
You don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even know.
Exactly. So apparently, one woman's talking to a friend named Angela, who's apparently
she might be with Clark.
She's might be with this guy named Clark, who was last seen kissing this girl named Mary. Who are these people?
And then Trick comes up, who apparently was on house arrest, but he's out now.
Yeah, and he was almost killed by
the road.
Yeah, he was almost killed by a driver who ran him off the road on the way over. Hey, is that Richard? Maybe.
I'm wondering if it's Doppelganger Cooper.
Ooh, but so that would mean Doppelganger Cooper's in Twin Peaks.
We only have 5 episodes left.
6 episodes.
6 episodes. Yeah, we only have 6 episodes left, so somebody better get to Twin Peaks pretty damn quick.
Yep. So there's that, and then we have an instrumental number by the Chromatics. Chromatics again, who were from the premiere. They do this song called Saturday, so you can check that out.
And a lot of these bands are on a record label called Italians Do It Better.
Yes.
And if you check out their website, they have a lot of really good colored vinyl and a lot of really good packaging of the music of these bands that we've been seeing on Twin Peaks.
Yeah, so they like Johnny Jewel and the Chromatics, and then I think that I Am song by Beats.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's on there. or that's on that label, if I'm not
Is
mistaken.
Chrysta Bell on that label too? I don't remember.
I don't know if she's on that label, but I know a lot of these songs obviously are going to be on the soundtrack.
Right, which I have my copy pre-ordered. Do you?
Yes, yes.
I have all these
That's
pre-orders.
an automatic. But I also have a lot of these songs downloaded on my MP3 player to tide me over until the album comes out.
I've been doing that too. As soon as
Yeah,
I can find them, I get them.
I have my temporary iTunes album.
Yes,
So,
our temporary Twin Peaks playlist.
exactly. So I think that's about it. Is there anything else in the episode I didn't cover?
Let's talk about Ben giving Frank the old key.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yes,
we didn't come back to that.
so remember Jade give two rides,
Mm-hmm.
mailed that Dale Cooper's old room key from the room 315 at the Great Northern, mailed it in. Ben, remember, if you recall, got the key, hung onto it, and then when Frank showed up, Frank Truman, Ben gave the key to Frank
To give to Harry as a memento.
to give to Harry as a memento. So now we were wondering, because remember, there's that strange buzzing or that strange noise going on at the Great Northern.
Right.
So
we still haven't really seen any, drawer pulls or doorknobs.
Exactly. So we don't know if it's Josie. It'd be great if it was Josie was still there, lurking around as a ghost. But or if it's something to connect Cooper. So maybe once he gets this room key, who knows?
I'm wondering if the room key is going to open up something.
Or there's something in the room that was left behind.
And what they haven't mentioned when Ben has been talking to Frank or Beverly about the fact that they haven't used keys in 20 years.
Right.
They aren't mentioning anything about the room itself. Is the room still being used?
Yeah, we don't. And remember,
ask to move to a different room because there's weird noises or weird things happening in it.
Right.
So we don't know what's up with the room itself. The room itself at this point still seems like there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, we know that the giant appeared there to Cooper, and also the old waiter, who one and the same.
One and the same. But then Josie was killed. Josie died in the room that she killed Eckhart in.
Yeah, it wasn't in room 315.
No, it wasn't room 315. So, but then again, we all know from seeing Audrey skulk around the hotel that there are secret passages through the hotel, and so who knows what floats around where. So
the hotel is filled with secrets.
The hotel is filled with secrets.
Yeah. So okay. Anything else that we didn't cover?
Albert, sometimes I really worry about you. I thought that was an interesting line because again, he said, he and Gordon are the only ones,
right,
out of the 5 people that have been involved with Blue Rose that are still around. I mean, Sam is okay, but Sam was just there as a forensics guy for Chet Desmond.
Yeah, he was. I mean, yeah, if you remember, Cooper, just wanted Albert. He preferred Albert over Sam. So I think Sam was just like a temporary.
Dan, go to Albert and his team. Don't go to Sam.
Yeah.
Albert seems to have a little more on the ball with this.
Exactly.
So, and Sam has his own quirky moments, but I don't think he would have been ready for.
I would love to see Kiefer Sutherland as Sam again.
Oh my goodness!
I don't expect it at all, but how great would it be?
I don't expect it, but I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That he's there and he's maybe now working in some sort of budgeting capacity because he's always so good at looking at rooms and telling you how much the room is worth.
Right.
Furniture included.
If nothing else, it would be great to get a scene between Denise and Sam.
Oh, how cool would that be? That would be so much fun.
That's just fan fiction at that point, but yeah,
yes,
it's great.
Exactly.
But it's great fan fiction. All right. So, anything else?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Okay. Do you have a rating?
Oh boy, what is my rating for this? I'm going to say this one is 8 out of 10 bottles of Bloody Mary mix.
Nice. Yeah, this one. I take it this one wasn't your favorite.
Well, it gets an 8 because it's just bringing up more questions than answers. I would have rated it a little higher if we had gotten some more Audrey,
Right.
because Audrey is, Audrey's one of my favorite characters, and Sherilyn Fenn is one of my favorite actresses ever. I just love her. Yeah, there she is in Funko form.
Yep.
But I would have liked a little more resolution more than more questions, but there's still good questions and there's still a lot going on and I'm still riveted.
Yeah, I know a lot of fans were disappointed that you wait all this time for Audrey and then she comes back like this. And and like I said, it's almost like she's like Audrey has become Catherine Martell.
That's a really good comparison. She has become Catherine Martell. And you just want to take David Lynch and yell at him. You're not going to tell us what he said?
Exactly.
You're not going to tell us what she said?
Yeah.
So it loses
frustrating.
a couple of points for being frustrating, but it's still a very good episode.
Yeah.
And I love Bloody Marys, so
there you go. I'm a Screwdriver fan myself.
Oh, I gotcha.
I'm the orange juice vodka guy. So yeah,
I hear you.
That's my thing. So I'm in sync with you on this one. This was not my favorite episode. It started off really good about halfway through because we got some great stuff with Gordon and Albert and the whole where Tammy becomes part of the Blue Rose Task Force, and then we got the fantastic Sarah Palmer stuff.
Right.
Which was great. And then halfway through the episode, things kind of start diving down into just that just this incoherence that was just frustrating, especially as a writer. I mean, I know Lynch does not follow a proper narrative. I get that. But it was just frustrating because we've waited so long for Audrey. And this is obviously not how we wanted to see. It's like the frustration I think we felt with still seeing Cooper as Dougie.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, there was this real quick scene where
I forgot about that.
Sonny Jim takes Cooper out. They go out to the backyard. They play some catch, which is one-sided because Sonny Jim throws the baseball and it hits Dougie right in the head. And is that gonna be like the old 70s TV trope where somebody gets hit your head and you regain your memory, and then they get hit in the head again and then they're cured? Oh, if that's the way after all that pie and all that coffee and
but that was the thing, you've heard a lot of jokes lately. When I was a kid, I seriously thought that you could get amnesia any day of the week and you were going to have to worry a lot more about quicksand than we actually have to in our real life. That was a constant thing in television when we were kids, that somebody got caught in quicksand.
Right.
Or you get hit on the head and you get amnesia, and then by the end of the episode you get hit on the head again and you remember everything. That's so common. So I'm wondering if I'm hoping this
is all your fault, 80s television.
Seriously, I'm hoping that it's not that what we see is not that when it comes to Cooper. I mean, at this point I don't care.
Not that trite.
Yeah, I don't. If it is that trite, fine. At least Cooper's back. I don't care. I just want Cooper back at this point.
Yeah, I think everybody would be like, okay, if like Cooper rings the doorbell and he gets his memory back, that's fantastic. I'll take it.
Yeah, something. I don't even care. Just bring him back.
Yeah.
So it's but part of me wonders if this is a nod to that old trope.
Yeah, so. I think that was again with the Let's Rock line being delivered by Diane instead of Cooper. That was a bit of a letdown because I think maybe it's just because of all the expectation we built up in our heads.
We just want it so bad at this point, know.
And it's just like, well, that would have been a great place to do it.
Yes.
So it feels like more like a lost opportunity.
I think so too. Or like I said before, I don't feel that the character of Diane is worthy of that line right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially if she's working for Team Doppelganger.
Yeah. What is that all about, Diane?
So
you should be smarter than that.
Yeah. Stay away from the tanning bed, Diane. Just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, it does really seem like we have a lot of people who are not themselves.
Yes.
You've got Diane, you've got Sarah Palmer, you've got Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's like that was one of my big questions I've been posing as we've doing these podcasts. What happened to all the doppelgangers in the Black Lodge?
Mm-hmm.
So
So
maybe we'll get some answers. I don't know, but
are we seeing that?
and then we've got, oh hey, there's these men that are coming, according to Sarah Palmer. That has to be the woodsman, right?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm assuming that that's the woodsman.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would think so. So,
And if she is in fact who we saw in 1955 or 1954,
yeah, somewhere there. Yeah.
she would know. You know?
Yes, she would, presumably.
Yeah.
Because
So.
it was obviously what went down at the radio station.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. All right. So that's our ratings. I do have some feedback who just got in under the wire from Ivan Ivanov.
Yeah, I saw him too. I saw him very recently post something to us. Hi, Ivan.
Yeah, he just posted this today. He says, writes in, says, "My dear old school universes, I come back again to say that you are like an old wine. I drink full and descend.
Nice.
Know your history. Thank you so much for expanding mine. It's a pleasure. Making such references is like an art and poetry to me." Wow. That's kind of like,
Yvonne appreciates our encyclopedic knowledge of stuff that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Thank you, Yvonne.
as long as we're impressing Yvonne, so hopefully.
It just makes me feel. I was actually talking to my friend Molly about this last night.
Yep.
That when I was younger, what I thought was interesting, people understanding references and knowing things and having an encyclopedic knowledge of things, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I tried. That's the kind of person I tried to be.
Well,
and now I am completely obsolete thanks to Google.
Well, if nothing else, I think Yvonne's validating you because he says it shows great TV show and movie intelligence and culture. So why apologize?
Thank you, Yvonne. That really does make me feel better.
Yeah,
that makes me feel good. So thank you.
It makes me feel good too. So thank you for that. So he says, "So let's rock.
Let's rock.
Let's rock."
Play it, Charles.
Well, I gotta go back here because I was looking that up. All right,
let's go get it.
Gotta go back. All right. Come on, you stupid app. There you go. There you go. There you go. Although maybe I should do the Diane version now.
No,
she's not.
No, that taints it.
She's not worthy.
No, it's tainted. Yeah. The Diane version is tainted.
So Yvonne continues, "Don't you love such TV shows that relate to the big questions, like where we came from, who made us, why is there good and evil, and the controversy between them? And it's so good that the bad always looks stronger, but eventually the good wins. Isn't that what we all want and we all hope for?" I
think so.
And he goes, "It's 7:00, and Dr. Amp is lighting the lamp." Hey, it works for me. And again, don't you feel that you live in some kind of matrix? For the television is shaping our minds, telling us what is to believe is real.
Fake news.
Fake news. So,
yes, here in the United States, we're dealing with a lot of fake news problems these days.
Yes, we are, unfortunately. But hopefully, we're seeing some progress on that end.
I hope so.
Hope so, too. So Yvonne continues, "I know that it's just a Twin Peaks podcast, but it's so much more."
Yeah, it is.
Yep, exactly. Thank
you for recognizing that, Yvonne.
Represent my brother.
Heck yes.
Testify. So it's like David Lynch has asked, does this scene mean this and that? And he is saying no. Like everybody gets it in different ways and levels. I love the imagination of that man and the mysterious, the hidden, and the mysticism of it all. So let me know if your feet are yours.
Play it again.
Oh, I don't have that soundbite.
No, just play Jerry.
Oh, okay. Just play Jerry? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just play Jerry.
All right, I'm gonna go back. I'm switching between apps here, so hold on.
Okay.
I can't keep both up at once, unfortunately, because it's a phone. There we go. I think I'm high. There we go. Although I do love your "I am not your foot."
I am not your foot.
I love that. I think that's just so adorable.
Thank you.
You do that so well. So by then, ta-ta and best wishes from Little 2 Months Tanya
Hello,
saying,
Tanya.
hello, Tanya. So we get the name of Yvonne's daughter, who we are steadily corrupting.
Go to sleep, little Tanya.
And yeah, don't get any like frog bug things in your like. Don't swallow them because that would be horrible.
Close your mouth when you sleep, little baby girl.
Exactly. So yeah. So Tanya says, "Ah." Because hey, she's 2 months old. She's not. That's all
She's
she
2
can
months
do.
old. That's pretty
Pretty good for two.
For a 2-year-old.
That's
yeah.
pretty good for 2 months. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, or 2-month-old. Sorry.
Yeah, 2 months. So Tanya. So again, congratulations on Tanya there, Yvonne. Well done.
Absolutely, Mazel Tov.
Yep. Thanks for keeping the next generation.
Absolutely. That is good to know that Twin Peaks is going to carry on.
So be sure to save these podcasts for when she grows up, and so she can go what. But
well, this is going to be on Blu-ray. She's all set.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, she's good.
Okay. So thanks, Yvonne, for writing in once again. It's always great to hear from you, and especially from Bulgaria, because that's just awesome.
Yes, that is really nice to know that Twin Peaks is so internationally revered, and that our podcast is so internationally reaching.
Yeah, that's one of the things. That's something obviously like back in the 80s we could never even imagine. That kind
Seriously,
yes. So how it's so awesome here in the future. Let's embrace it.
The future's pretty. Yeah, the future has its moments.
Exactly.
I have to say.
Every so often, it's worth living in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anything else before we wrap up shop?
Oh, I had a little giddy fangirl moment this week.
Oh yeah. What was that?
Those of you who, I mean, if you're into Twin Peaks, you're probably into cult television, so you're probably watching or aware of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yes.
And even if you're not aware of Mystery Science Theater 3000, you're probably aware that Patton Oswalt is engaged to be married to Meredith Salinger. Well, if you were a nerd girl in the 1980s...
This is after he lost his previous wife.
Yes, his previous wife passed away about 2 years ago. And he had a very public way of dealing with his depression, which I think was very...
brave.
Very generous of him to share that with the rest of us, because... And I know there's a lot of internet jerks out there that probably have some nasty things to say, but I think I hope it was good for him to know that so many people were supporting him in his.
We hate internet jerks.
We hate internet jerks. Yes, absolutely. Speaking of internet jerks, anybody who works for Marvel can drink a milkshake whenever the heck they want to, so you can just shut up, all of you.
Pretty much. I had a milkshake today, by the way.
Good for you.
So yes,
make mine milkshake.
So make mine milkshake. Exactly.
Rest in peace, Flo. We love you.
Yeah. So.
And I'm sorry, you can't be a fake geek girl and work for Marvel at the same time. Doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. How does that work? Especially when there's not just one woman there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, my husband works for Marvel Comics. Okay, there's not a fake geek in the bunch of them, so there you go.
There are female engineers where I work. So are they like fake engineers? I don't get how that works.
Oh, they're just pretending so they can get a husband, Charles. God, I hate people. Anyway, so I hope it was helpful for Patton Oswalt to see that there was support for him, and I think it was very generous of him to, because we don't talk about mental illness nearly as much as we should, and I think if we did more, there would be less stigma about it, and people would be more apt to seek out help when they really need it.
Yeah,
so,
I agree, because the more you discuss something openly, the more comfortable you are talking about it, and it helps other people feel comfortable talking about it as well.
And the more you realize that what you think is the end of the world might not be the worst thing, and the more you realize that you're not alone.
Exactly.
And I think that's what a lot of us need to know most of the time when we are feeling despondent about life. So anyway, long story short, Patton Oswalt, after 2 years of dealing with, being a single father, raising his daughter as a widower and all that stuff, is now engaged to be married to Meredith Salinger. And for those of you who were nerdy girls in the 80s, there was a little movie that you might remember called The Journey of Natty Gann,
Ooh.
which is this fantastic movie about this girl who, like, kind of gets separated from her father and has to, like, go through the woods of the Pacific Northwest looking for him with her pet wolf. I mean, it's an amazing movie. It's so good. And anyway, Natty Gann was played by Meredith Salinger, which is how I know who Meredith Salinger is.
Wow.
And it's to the point where my friend Sarah came down from Toronto to visit her family, and while she was here, MST3K Live was in Columbus, so we went to go see that together. And during the intermission, we were talking about it, and I said, Patton Oswalt got engaged to Natty Gann, and so we were so excited about it because we both loved that movie. And I did a thing on Twitter because of internet jerks. People were kind of being mean to Patton Oswalt, saying, like, didn't your wife just die? I guess she really didn't mean anything to you. It's like, guys, what do you want to do? Miserable forever? And this was 2 years ago. Allow the man to be happy again, So I wanted to just put something on Twitter, just saying that, just voicing that I think that people are jerks and there's no reason for talk like that. So I made a comment about Patton Oswalt marrying Natty Gann, and I made some Natty Gann references.
Right.
Specifically the one about how her father in the movie, he thinks Natty Gann is dead. So he's lost his wife. He thinks he's lost his daughter. So now he's taking these really dangerous jobs. Like when you're cutting down trees, he's the guy at the top.
Okay.
Cutting them down. Like cutting down, basically cutting down Douglas firs.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really something.
They're really something. Big, majestic. But Natty Gann's father is played by Ray Wise.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I've never seen this movie, so this is like...
Yeah, I think it was one of those... I think you might have been a little too old. You're 45?
Actually, no, I'm 48.
Okay, I think you might have been a little too old for this.
Okay.
It was kind of a kid Disney movie sort of a thing.
Okay.
And if you were at that age, it was a girls' movie. Like the boys didn't go see Annie, that kind of stuff.
Wait to stigmatize. I can't watch certain movies. Is that what you're saying?
You remember what kids were like. It's like, that's a girl thing, or that's a boy thing.
I know.
Kids do that. So,
I know what you're saying.
Anyway, so I made a joke about, I said, guys, did Patton Oswalt get engaged to Natty Gann? And then I said, is Ray Wise going to help them cut down their Christmas tree? Just as sort of a joke. And
yeah.
And guess who liked my tweet?
Seriously?
Ray Wise.
Nice.
Ray Wise. I got a like from, and Meredith Salinger too. But yes, Meredith Salinger not having been on Twin Peaks was not the point of my story.
I got it.
But yes, I got a like from Meredith Salinger and from Ray Wise. I was very excited about that.
Did he ask you to find Laura? No.
Oh, I would be happy to.
There you go. That's awesome. So you geeked out over that because, hey, Ray Wise is also in RoboCop.
Yes, he is. Don't touch me, man.
Yeah, exactly. That was the best scene. I love it.
Help me! Don't touch me, man.
Like, get away from me. Yeah, dude. He just that was such a real reaction to seeing that.
That was so great. Yeah, it was totally a reaction to seeing that. Somebody who like in 15 seconds is going to have complete total mutation from.
Well, and then he ends up getting like totally blown apart from a car.
Yes. Well, not even blown apart, but like.
Because his whole cellular structure is broken down.
Parts exploded. Yeah. It was so gross. But yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago. There was a picture making the rounds, and it was a recent photo of Ray Wise and don't tell me Clarence Boddicer's name, Kurtwood Smith.
Yes.
And the other guys in their gang.
Yeah.
And it was a meme, and it just said, like if you know why this picture is awesome.
Nice.
And I was like, yes. So yes, I got a like on a tweet from Ray Wise. I was
that's awesome.
I was happy.
Well played. But don't let him anywhere near your window.
No,
let's not do
that. And if he tells you to wash your hands, run. Just run.
Yes, exactly.
Seriously, not good.
And don't be like Sarah Palmer and just start drinking, because that doesn't solve anything.
It doesn't. It doesn't help anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, I cannot say enough good things about Ray Wise. I absolutely love him.
Yeah,
I love it when he's in things. Like if he's in something, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
Like
he turns up. He turns up the weirdest places. Like he turned up on Agent Carter, and he was fantastic on that. And just every so often you'll see him, and it's just great to
Well, and
watch him.
he was on the Closer, that detective show
Yeah.
with Kira Sedgwick that I absolutely loved,
Right.
and I was just so excited to see him. I think he's wonderful.
Yeah.
I cannot say enough good things about Ray Wise, and I still think and like I said, if there's ever something, if I was ever in a movie and somebody said you need to cry on command, I'm like, okay, well just cue up the trailer for Fire Walk with Me, and when Ray Wise starts talking, don't make me do this, I'll just start crying. It'll be fine. That's all that needs to happen.
Yeah, that's one of your trigger moments.
That's one of my trigger moments. Yeah, seriously, like 20 years later, that movie makes me start sobbing just when he says that he's so good.
Yeah.
He's just so good. So thank you, Ray Wise, for liking my tweet. It was a nice little thrill that one of the cool kids was listening to me. So that's cool.
We'll get the big thumbs up from here on Ghostwood. So yeah. All right. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I give this one 8 out of 10 blue roses for obvious reasons. For obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons, yeah.
Obvious reasons. All right. So I think that's about it. Zan, where can they find you?
I am on the Facebook,
Yes.
Zan Sprouse. I am on the Twitter, Udinax19. And, of course, the Instagram, Udinax19. And that's pretty much it. I haven't done the, what is that new thing now, the slam book Facebook, the Sarah Ha or whatever that thing is, where you're supposed to be able to, like, say nasty stuff to people anonymously?
You mean the internet? No.
Yeah, isn't that already Facebook?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, just we try to stay positive here on Ghostwood.
Yes.
But yeah, that's great. I'm also on the Twitter machine at Charles Skaggs, or at Charles Skaggs on the Instagram. Google Plus for 8 crazy kids on the Google Plus. Facebook, of course, and of course my blog, Geeky Things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Damn good coffee and hot, where I talk about Twin Peaks and Ghostwood and all kinds of comic and sci-fi goodness. And my other 2 podcasts, I also talk about those. Next Stop Everywhere, that I do with Jesse Jackson, where we talk Doctor Who, and the Phantom Zone podcast, where we cover all kinds of comic book shows. And these days, in the summer months, we're currently covering Preacher and Winona Earp. So, waiting eagerly for The Defenders on Netflix.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that here in a couple weeks. So
nice.
So stay tuned for that.
Fantastic.
And then, the fall shows start hitting, and we go, holy crap, we have like so many comic book shows. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
So that's when the fun begins. So, yeah, please check those out. So if you want to reach us here, just like Yvonne, you can reach us on our Facebook page, Ghostwood the Twin Peaks Podcast. And Zan, cheers to you for jacking up our likes on Facebook all the way up to 57 now.
I didn't mean to...
that was awesome.
To stuff the ballot box or anything like that. But
get the word out. That was awesome.
I have other friends that do podcasts, and I thought we all should be supporting each other. So
yeah, as we always should. So yeah, that's
exactly.
Great. So cheers for that.
Speaking of which, if you guys like true crime podcasts,
yes,
please check out Red Rum Blonde.
Okay.
Aaron Fleming's podcast, Red Rum Blonde. It's a true crime podcast sort of focusing on Midwestern, specifically Pennsylvania kind of stuff. It'll be whatever, but she's been lately doing a lot of Midwestern crimes, which I think is very cool. So
interesting. She do any serial killer mysteries? Like real life serial killer mysteries?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. It's a true crime. It's a true crime podcast.
Okay.
Some of them are solved, some of them are unsolved. She just sort of just finds whatever she wants to research and then shares her research with us very generously in a great podcast.
That's awesome. Yeah, plug that away. So that's awesome. And then you can also reach us at Ghostwood. Ghostwood twinpeakspodcast@gmail.com. You can email us there. Or on the Twitter machine @GhostwoodCast. And that's a great place to reach us. And also when we post stuff and stuff you should know, or I try to retweet stuff that I think is hopefully of interest to Twin Peaks fans. So,
yeah, I had to post the photo of myself and
that was beautiful.
Sherilyn Fenn.
Yeah, you posted that on Facebook. That was great.
I was so happy. I posted on Twitter too, but I must not have tagged Ghostwood.
Yeah, you got a lot.
So I'll make sure I do.
Yeah, you got a lot of likes on that one. So that was great. So yeah, very cool. So yeah, check those out if you would. Obviously, next week we're going to talk about The Return Part 13 as we head into the final third of The Return. With so many damn questions unresolved.
So many questions.
So many questions.
I hope I'm going to go see the English Beat this weekend. I hope they play that song. But when I say that, when I do my little sing song with so many questions, it's from the song "Tenderness" by the English Beat.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was. Tenderness.
Where is the tenderness? So yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Where is it? Yeah, Dave Wakeling. Yum. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Very nice. So I think that's about it. So I guess we'll see you next week, right here, because you're going to come back, right? Next week, right here on Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Doppelganger.